Hi parents, and welcome to your virtual back to school night. I really apologize for not being able to be there this evening. It's my first missed back to school night ever. We did have a family emergency and I am out of state Monday night. But I do hope that this video is educational for you or informational, and that in the future now, if you ever need to go back and look at some information within the PowerPoint, you're able to access this online. So welcome to Earth Science Spring of 2014. This is my third year teaching Earth Science here at the school. I love Earth Science. It's probably one of my favorite things to teach, just because it is so much fun to be able to look out into the world and actually see what we are learning about. This is a first and second period class. Earth Science is offered to sophomores, juniors, and seniors, and it does fulfill our physical science requirement. I'm going to take you through just a couple things that your child will see throughout the day in Earth Science. And what I do ask of the kids at home for homework is to study. So they'll have a study log that their parents have to sign off, or I can sign off, that shows that they've studied for the week in some appropriate way, whether it's flashcards or notes. And so I do want to show you what the student will have at home to study from that you might help them study with. Okay, so first of all, these are in and outs. This is our warm-up. So every single day when a student comes into class, they have a couple questions that they'll be asked about information the day before. Right, so those are our in questions. This is what I expect the student to be able to learn, or I'm sorry, expect the student to have learned the day before. And then my out question right here, if you can see number 3, this is what I expect them to know by the time they leave class. Okay, this is my way of telling them their objective for the day. By the time you leave my class, you should know the difference between a law and a theory. We will start these in and outs next week on Tuesday. I ask that all students have a science-only notebook. Sorry, I stopped recording because I wanted to go get a notebook. So I ask that the students keep everything in a science-only notebook. And here's what these in and outs would look like. I want to show you an example because I'll do this in class. Our in and outs are kept in our notebook, and what I ask the students to do is we write all the questions on one side and all the answers on the other. And what this does is it creates a study quiz for the rest of the week. So they can fold their in and outs in half. And now they have all the questions here, and it's a quiz. All right, so they can actually test themselves what is the 7th step of the scientific method, but they also have the answers. So one way that you could possibly study with your students at home or your kids at home is to ask for their notebook. They take everything home from me, and this notebook actually is organized into pages where all the notes go in here, but we also glue in, you can see some of these things, we glue in pages, so anything that's like a worksheet gets glued in and it doesn't fall out and we don't lose it. And then I collect these notebooks about every 3-4 weeks and give them credit for their in-class participation. So there's one way you can study with your child at home. The weekly homework that I told you about is the study log to study from the notebook, or flashcards are most of the time done in class, but I ask that you finish them outside of class or study from them. And the flashcards, I'll give you an example in just a second, but a study log will show that they've studied the flashcards. And then any work not finished in class, so if there's absences, projects, we do have intervention, and I'll talk about that in just a second, to make up missing work and to intervene on skills. But anything that is not finished in class, I ask is finished outside for homework. I run the content on a mastery system. So what the mastery system says, or how it functions, is that you have to score 70% on the content in order to get a score recorded for the content. So if a student takes a quiz in class, they're taken online, and they score underneath the 70%, I ask them to retake the quiz. Now, why that's important to you is that you might see a missing assignment in the notebook, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the kid did not take the quiz. What it means is they did not score 70% or have not mastered the content yet. Really, all I'm asking the students to do is learn the material, okay? And so I don't mind how many times it takes them to learn the material, as long as in the end they have learned the specific content that I asked them to. Those quizzes are online. I'll give you the website, but they are able to be practiced at home. So when I say retakes are unlimited, I'm asking the students to practice at home as well as in class to retake. Here's an example for flashcard terms. Let me go grab some flashcards. Hold on. Sorry, I was not prepared. So what flashcards are is they're kept in class, but what we do is we put the word on the front of the card like so. We put the definition on the back like so. And if you are studying with your child at home or you see them studying, what I ask them to do is to look at one side, see if they can tell you the definition. Okay, you can study that way. If you get through all the flashcards, then you can show them the definition and see if they can recognize the word. So you can actually study your flashcards two ways, from the definition or the word side. This isn't a way to get through vocabulary. This is how I got through college. You might be used to studying like that. Some people like it, some people don't. I require flashcards in class, and then again, I ask that they study outside at home, but some of that studying can be done during intervention classes or after school with me. Now, we take notes in a similar way to what I said. We do the in and outs, in that the content is on this side of the notes, and then the interaction is on this side of the notes. So what this really breaks into, this is an example of one thing we might take in a biology class. This is the things that I give, and then what I ask then after they take the notes is to have some type of interaction with the material on the margin side. And the reason why is that really the writing part of notes is very route. It is not a lot of effort put into it, and there's not a lot of learning that occurs the first time you write something down. Where the learning really occurs is when you interact with that material. And by having a margin or leaving a space to interact, we do a couple things in the margin. We question, we come up with examples, we look at application, and then and that is done, with a partner or within a group, so that there's some type of conversation that occurs about the content on top of the writing that occurs. So really they're interacting with the material multiple times before I actually have them go study it. Okay, so that's an interactive notebook. We take those in class as well. Online resources, I told you the quizzes are online. You can go to sciencelogin.com and even create a fake account, but your child does have an account through me for Science Login, and this is where their online quizzes are taken and that they can be practiced at home if the child needs to study it or retake it in the future. Tutoring, so additional help. I'd like you to know when I'm available. Always Tuesdays after school. During intervention periods, most of the time I request students to come, so they're mandated. If a student's grade does drop below a 70, I ask that they are there every single day. And when I say ask, I mean that I mandatory or mandate them to come there. I will let you know if a student's grade drops below 70%. I send out grades usually every Friday. My grade book is open for you to see at all times. If you ever have any questions, you can please email me. And I, again, check their grades in class every week, and then I send home their grades as well. Science grades are, common for all of our classes, so earth, biology, physics, chemistry. We weight our final to be 20%, our assessments to be 40, and then our lab activities to be 40. So what you know is just as important as the class you do, classwork that you do, and then that midterm final, that final exam is worth 20%. The midterm final is not retakeable. This is all in the syllabus, so I won't go over this too much. And then in science, we say because we run the mastery that anything below a 70 is an F. It is very difficult for a child to fail this class because I mandate them to come in anytime their grade drops below a C. It rarely ever gets below a C for very long. But again, home link if you have any questions on their grades. And I do like to let parents know at the end of back to school night that I am a parent as well. And I just want to let you guys know that because I realize that these grown-up teenagers at one point were your babies. And if you ever have any questions, concerns, want to share something wonderful that's happening, or if you want to share something that's not going well that you'd like help with, please email me anytime. You can call. You're welcome in my classroom to come by, but my door is open, my email's open, phone is open. Please don't be afraid to communicate with me at any time. When my children are not with me during the day, I expect the person that they are with to be giving them the best of the best. And your children are with me all day, so I expect to be giving them the best education that I possibly can. I run my classroom as if my own children were in that, and I want them to be learning, I want them to be working hard, but I also want them to be learning skills that they can take outside of my class that don't necessarily have to do with just earth science. So again, I'm going to put this back to the first screen. My name is Krista Myers. My email, I did not put that on there. Let me put that, please. Is kmyers at rjuhsd.us. Please email me or call anytime. I'm in room S101 throughout the day. Again, you are welcome to stop by. I hope that you have a wonderful evening. I again apologize that I was not able to meet you. If you'd like to come by anytime, please do. Have a good night.